One that comes close to our first annual history-making event of July 17th last year, thanks to the folks at Fluharty and NASA, and we're pleased to have those folks with us today. I want to take just a moment to talk about a new entity that has been established called Fly Wisely Accelerator Corp. And it is not an original idea. In fact, it has been talked about for months, led by Sham and Matt and others who came up with this idea, and no one seemed to act on it. And hanging around with entrepreneurs a lot, they tend to want to act on things more rapidly. So we acted and created this entity and have an attorney working on the 501c3 and getting the IRS determination presently. We will be asking most folks who represent entities in the room to bring about teaming agreements under this entity and seek grant funding and the like in private investment to do research and development and testing and everything that goes around in this circle to promote the region. Now, an accelerator is just simply to promote more rapidly, help entrepreneurs hit the ground running, not help start a new entity from scratch, but take those that exist today and push them forward through promotion and advice in any way we can connect across the Commonwealth of Virginia and in other locations. And seek to offer professional advice and guidance and turn business ideas into prototypes to move forward. And we're pleased to have Aurora here today with us, and we'll talk about that more after a while. Why an accelerator? We need rapid growth. It's an opportunity to seek to bring venture capitalists to the region that we have been lacking over years. It is an opportunity to reduce time to market, increase employment and competitiveness, not just here but throughout the nation and the world. And local government can seek benefit, and Virginia can seek benefits. This past session of the General Assembly, Go Virginia, I know many in the room were involved with. It's an opportunity to interact with Go Virginia as it begins to step up and do work around the Commonwealth. Now, Southwest Virginia has had its hard knocks. We've not kept the same rate of employment. We've had an inability to diversify from fossil fuels. We suffer from chronic unemployment. Our poverty rate is climbing. ARC is reclassifying this particular county at a higher distressed rate, and it's disproportionate to the balance of the Commonwealth. We've got to break out of isolation and interconnect around the Commonwealth to bring about change in our local economy. And I keep pushing these slides forward. So, planning for the future, workforce development. We have Mountain Empire Community College here today and UVA-Wise. Both are instrumental in workforce development in many fields, and hopefully in particularly unmanned systems going forward. Software engineering goes on at both institutions, and I think we'll hear more about that in the not-so-distant future. Research and development applications, of which Fluharty and NASA have helped lead here locally over the years. And Micronic with water and the like. We hope to nurture these companies forward. Electronics, avionics, sensor manufacturing. We have a representative from E-Systems here today. We've been talking to E-Systems for nearly a year now. And hopefully we can begin to bring things to fruition in manufacturing in this sector. Successful applications. We're trying to rapidly pursue partnerships with Mid-Atlantic Aviation Partnership, as John's well aware. And we are working right presently. Hopefully there will be an announcement shortly involving Sensilize, a firm out of Israel, and Hazon Solutions out of Virginia Beach. with the Mid-Atlantic Aviation Partnership and Mountain Empire Community College. I would be looking for activity next month here in Wise County involving these particular firms. So again, we'll be hopefully reaching out under the auspices of the Fly Wisely Accelerator Corporation to all of these firms and my friends at NASA and other locations as we seek to develop cooperation among historic institutions locally and reach out across the Commonwealth of Virginia to develop and nurture relationships with other innovative institutions. And I want to thank Don Green, the Executive Director of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, for particularly helping with this event. This quote of Napoleon Hill, a Wise County native, has influenced me over many decades. And I think it's one that we need to take to heart and dream, think big, and act upon it where we can. All of you who know me know that I try to nurture the next generation forward. And Andy Kilgore has been a right hand in putting many of these events together. And she recently returned from London, and as a boy I remember her grandmother really well. She influenced me to go to the University of London for a period of time, and I'm tickled that she recently got to go visit with the folks in the home country and help grow her outlook around the world. So Andy, if you would come forward. Andy's going to begin introducing our presenters this morning to Dr. Ankliff.
All right, welcome again, everyone, to the breakfast hosting Dr. Rich Ankliff this morning from NASA Langley Research Center. We're very glad to have him here, and we're very glad to see everyone here for breakfast this morning. Our first presenter that we have is Karen Sorber. She is the CEO of Micronic Technologies, and I will let her be the expert on this since she is the CEO of this company and explain to you what Micronic Technologies is and turn the mic over to you. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Andy. I got to handle two things at once. Good morning, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. Most of you, or many of you, have heard this presentation before, so I've done a little bit of research, and I've tried to make it a little different for those of you who've heard it before, and those of you that haven't will get a new and improved, a new opportunity to hear about Micronic. In 2008, my husband, the inventor, and I started the company with the idea that we could help people in developing countries. I had been to Peru, and it had been a big problem, access to water. And of course, I'd studied Africa. We all have. We understand what a problem it is to get water to the villages. So that was our plan and our idea, and we thought in 2 years, we thought in 2 years we'd be, up and out. In 2 years, we finally got a little bit of capital and a patent filed, and but these many years later, we are in very good shape, and we will be going to market before too long, in no small part due to the support of this county. All right. There we go. This gives you just a little bit of an overview of the company. In 2012, 2012 we received our first patent. 2012 we also won the Clean Tech Open for the Mid-Atlantic region. We got our second prototype on cleaning water. My husband is the inventor. We got a patent filed and issued, and then we got our first USDA grant. After that, University of Virginia at Wise, Chancellor Donna Henry came to visit us, did due diligence, thank you. And as a result of that, we submitted a proposal later that we were awarded with a Tobacco Commission grant. About a month or so, a few months after that due diligence, Carl Snodgrass, thank you Carl, with the county and the IDA, we did a deal and we moved here. And we were very happy with that move because it helped the company with getting working capital and access to grant opportunities. The Navy gave us a grant shortly thereafter. We got the Tobacco Commission grant. Southwest Virginia awarded us a technology award in 2015. And then we made a breakthrough in our energy, which I'll talk a little bit later in terms of our, how efficient our system is. We got 2 more patents last summer. We won this year the General Electric and Statoil award for one of 4 companies in water technology treatment as innovators across the world, with 23 countries having submitted applications. We were part of the White House Summit this year and submitted some commitments in the fact sheet. So coming to Wise County was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us, and we've done very well since. Now, which one am I pushing here? There we go. This is our team. We have now 11 people, and we're planning to hire another 4 this year. So things are going well. This is the inventor up here. These are Wise County folks here, Wise County folk here, folks here, folks here. These are all of our Wise County folks that we've hired. We brought 4 from Northern Virginia, but we're all about employment and hiring people from Wise County. So here's the technology. Water treatment is not easy. Cleaning water is not easy. It usually takes lots of systems to do it. In our case, we can, in one pass, through the use of a tornado, it's literally a tornado with all the vacuums and pressures associated with a tornado, that is created by these pods that you see in the middle here. Those pods have 3 patents on them. This tornado is not taught. The math and the aspects of it are not taught in engineering schools. It's new application of science. So what we found as a result, it doesn't require any membranes and no filters and no chemicals, and it is low pressure and low temperature, and as a result it's 1/10 the cost of distillation, and it has 95% throughput. Because it can take everything out of the water, we're able to do treatment of things like, I can't figure out which one of these things is doing this. There we go. We're able to take everything out of the water, not just the salts. We can take out metals, selenium, iron, manganese, and many others. They're dissolved solids, and not just solids. We also can take out the total dissolved solids like salts that are in the ocean at 45 or maybe 50,000 parts per million of salts. We can take it out up to 380,000 parts per million. It's sort of unheard of. There's no other one-pass system that can do that. We also can take the coliforms out. So if there's E. coli or bacteria or viruses and that sort of thing, we can do great things there. 88% of our trials passed EPA regulations, and so we're able to take care of acid mine drainage in the local area. We can do fracking water, leachate water, you name it. Okay, what's the business proposition here? What's the value proposition? In the case of our system, you can take actual raw water. Still trying to figure out which one of these. Oh, right, I screwed that up, didn't I? Excuse me. How do I go back? Can you help me out? Okay, one more ahead. Okay. Which one of these is the... Oh well, the first one, raw water intake. Okay, that goes, after the oil and grease, if there is any, is taken out, it goes straight into our system. One pass. All of these other systems, total suspended solids, are taken out normally by flocculation, inorganics and metals by chemicals, bacteria by ozonation or UV, and then total dissolved solids by a filtration process. That's what normally happens. All of those systems in a treatment train are taken care of. They're eliminated. They're no longer needed because ours is a one-pass system. That's what is so unique about it. The cost is going to be so much less, the footprint so much less, as you can imagine. Okay, so what's happened since we've been here? With all those grants, we developed a engineering flow bench. Very significant piece to our development. As a result of that flow bench being developed, we've done all the engineering to put a pilot in the field. That was critical for us. We needed to have a machine that could really understand the data coming out of the machine, the temperatures, the relative humidity, the flow rates, and the like. And any of you that want to come visit us, you can see this in person. What's happened since we've gotten that flow bench designed and developed and the data out of it, we've been able to measure the energy reduction. If you look at the dark blue at the beginning, up there where it has 60, I think this is about 57, from this point down to here, you ended up with a 21 point something kilowatt hours per gallon. Very, very high energy. In the second prototype, over the 2013 time frame, we got it down to about 9.7 kilowatt hours per gallon. But since we've had the engineering flow bench and we were able to do the technology evaluation more accurately and with better and more engineers, we've gotten it down to 0.58 kilowatt hours per gallon and able to project 0.11 kilowatt hours per gallon for a 1,500 gallon a day unit, which we're hoping to get out in the field this next year. This is what our pilot's going to look like, except the engineer is always changing it. But it's generally what it's going to look like, about a 4x4x4 kind of size, not very large. It'll have a motor and a blower and our evaporator. There's very few moving parts. So, yes, there we go. Where are our planned pilots? We have one in Wise County planned for acid mine drainage. We have another with the Wise County Public Service Authority for drinking water and wastewater. And then we have Lee County acid mine drainage. They have a lot of issues down there. We're going to help them out. And then over in Shenandoah, there's a turkey processing farm that wants to have us help clean their water. Water is everywhere. Everywhere there's water, there's wastewater. We can clean it all no matter where it is. This is just an example of some pictures of Lee County where we have up in the upper left-hand corner is the clean water. Down here on the left-hand bottom, you've got the acid mine drainage. Over on the right-hand side, University of Virginia Wise is working with us on a lot of the environmental analysis, and so we're working with them. We've built a weir so we can measure the flow rates, and then once we do our pilot there, we'll be able to learn more about how our device actually reduces the contaminant level, and as a result we can project how big of a unit we would need in that area in order to have a permanent installation, which is our desire. So, what does this mean for space? We're all about space. Jack's all about space. Jack has gotten me so motivated about space, I can't even tell you. Of course, you would know. What are the effects of reduced gravity on our system? And the answer is we don't know. But these are some of the questions. How would it affect our water flow? How would it affect our evaporation? The water droplet composition and movement. We're all about reducing the water into tiny, teeny droplets so that they evaporate very quickly. How will it affect our suspended solids and our dissolved solids? We can only hypothesize because we've never done this in reduced gravity. We would love to be able to have a grant that would do that. I'm sure Jack would enjoy that, and we'll have to be a strategic partner with some of his grantees. Excuse me, I didn't mean to go back. Can you go back one? Okay, on the physical characteristics, lightweight materials are critical. Heat conductive materials are critical. We got to get this machine way up there and be very, very efficient. Biofouling prevention, we got to see how that shifts. And then we have a gravity separator right now. We'd have to redesign it, obviously, because it's reduced gravity. And then, of course, bringing the wastewater back, because we're 95% efficient, it'll be a very small amount to bring back. Okay, so we've done a little bit of research on the space station, and it turns out that all of those items in gray are different subsystems that are being used now in the ISS, the International Space Station. In our case, we can bring the raw water directly into our system, if we can make it work in anti-gravity. It'll have to go through this oxidation reactor because of the volatiles that are in there, that are contained in the urine, frankly. And then it can go back through our system. This reactor actually turns that volatile into a suspended solid or dissolved solid, and then it can go back through our system. So you can see with 4 systems not being necessary any longer, it would be a much lower, smaller footprint, obviously less cost. Reduced expendables, no filters, no membranes, none of this would have to be taken to space. less labor to support the maintenance, less upkeep and fouling. All of these things we anticipate would be advantages in a space environment.